to another episode of College Football Uncensored, brought to you by Saturday Down South. I'm your host, Tyler Huck. With me, as always, my co-hosts. We're two cheery young guys. Chris Marler. Chris, great day to be alive.
Welcome in, guys.
Great day to be alive.
It's my least favorite song. No, that's fun. That's fun. No, it was a fun weekend, I guess. It was so Bama had their spring game. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So how do you want to go about this? I'm trying to think. We should do role play. And I'm thinking, how do we want to go about this? Do we want to do Bama spring game as from the angle of just covering it, objectively covering it?
Sure.
Do you want to do it as in Bama spring game from UGA Twitter? Or do you want to do Bama spring game as Bama Homer? You want to do objective?
I think we should go objective.
Yeah.
I think you could easily say from the Georgia point of view, dog, it's just so sad. Daddy's back, and that's all I saw. It's man, Bama's they're going to struggle to go 7-5 this year, and man, wow, can you believe what's happened to the program?
Big Game Boomer said that. So we have 69 views right now. We got 69 live. Thank you for doing it, guys. Yeah. So there's so much hate being spewed, mainly for me, because do you know who Adam Brenneman is?
Adam Brenneman.
This is just a thing that happens.
Okay, I know Tom Brenneman. Are they related?
Who's Tom Brenneman?
Isn't he a baseball announcer?
I don't know.
Hi, I'm Tom Brenneman. What?
So Albert Brenneman is from Hitch.
Okay.
Yeah. This just seems to be a thing that's just going to happen though nowadays whenever Bama has a spring game, and that is, I need you to pull up Twitter real quick. Pull up Twitter on your computer.
Okay.
Okay, just type in Adam Brenneman. You ever see the late?
Wait, I think Tom Brenneman was the guy that will go. Yeah, he's the Castellanos guy.
It's Hayes Clint.
And it's a deep drive to left.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So this was all
right. So I'm on Twitter. Where do I go?
Adam Brenneman.
Adam Brenneman. Got it.
Albert Brenneman was in Hitch.
Tom Brenneman was the Castellanos guy.
Hayes Glenn, Turpin Ellis.
Oh, I've seen this Adam Brenneman guy. Who did I see him interview? Okay.
Just scroll down.
Scrolling.
Scroll down until you see something somewhat familiar.
Bro Jackson. And he got retweeted by John Reese Plumlee.
So this is just now a thing that happens every Alabama A-Days, that somebody national is going to steal my shit and then get credit for it. So we had the Bro Jackson thing, which was kind of cool. I thought it was cool that he recognized it. I didn't think it was cool that he stole it. Even Connor, that's how I found out. Connor sent me a text and he's like, bro, this is blatant. You missed it. It was a video we did about John Rice Plumlee, and I called him Bro Jackson because he played. It was still pretty cool. We talked about it last episode, I think, or last time you were on here, which was dude played center field and for UCF in an actual game against Memphis, got pulled, hops in a golf cart, drives across campus, and jumps into the locker room, changes into his football outfit for his little skits, and then goes and plays in the spring game. It's pretty cool. That's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about today is the Bama spring game, Colorado spring game, LSU spring game. Now, the LSU spring game, I'm assuming, was closed to public, or just because there's no way that nobody wouldn't have showed up.
Nobody showed up?
There's no one in the stands, but it had to have been closed to the public, which maybe because of COVID.
That's true.
Brian Kelly still big in the COVID thing.
Yeah. All right. So where we want to start then? Do we want to start with Bama, or do you want to leave that?
We'll start with Bama.
Okay. So it's clear that, they've taken a step back, humongous step back.
Right.
It doesn't seem like they really will be competitive in the West this year. What do you think?
So if we're being objective, the quarterback play in the first half, I think, left something
to be desired.
Something to be desired. I think there was it wasn't great. It's a spring game.
Mm-hmm.
I feel fine. I'm not as concerned because everything we're seeing is so here's the thing. I think that it's for me, if I'm wearing a Bama shirt right now, everybody knows that watches the podcast or listens to the podcast knows that I grew up a Bama fan. At this point, if you can't sit here and logically say that I'm an objective person, then fuck off. Like I don't even know what else to say because it's like I am as objective as possible with Bama. I said last year they were going to lose to LSU. I said they were going to lose to Texas. I think I said that we were going to beat Tennessee. So I was like 1-2, but like like I haven't been sitting here like banging the drum just for Bama over any of these teams for like quite some time. I think with the spring game, you have a new offensive coordinator. It's your first time like actually calling plays with both quarterbacks. You go into that game trying to figure out who your quarterback's going to be. I think that they underwhelmed at times in that game. I don't think that they had a ton of drops, which is cause for concern. With the receivers and shit like that.
Who's going to be the number one receiver this year?
Ja'Cory Brooks.
But
see, here's the thing. Also, like the offense is, I think, going to be predicated around a lot of play action to the tight ends. Like we targeted 6 different tight ends. I don't even know that we had 6 tight ends on that team. It's not going to be the same kind of like explosive type of offense, like throwing the ball deep, which you really haven't even seen in the last 2 years because you didn't see that a lot last year with Bill O'Brien's offense, where they were targeting a lot of deep balls, getting people just on go routes, deep posts, all that kind of shit. That you saw the year before that when you had a guy like Mechie who could do kind of some of the more intermediate routes, and then Jameson Williams, who's a 4-2 guy, going deep. I don't know if like what that's gonna look like. I do know that like you're not showing a lot. It's your first time having plays called from like that standpoint. You didn't run the football like near like even close to what you're gonna. I think like the play calls, it was not 60-40 run throw. It felt like, if anything, it was 60-40 like throw run, and that's just not what you're going to have in what's his name's offense, Tommy Rees's offense, because like it is from all the numbers we've seen at Notre Dame, it's going to be a run first offense. Thought Justice Hayes looks good. You barely saw Jace McClellan. Here's the one thing I will say: I think that like the quarterback situation is not solidified. I definitely agree with that. The 7-5 thing, fucking big game boomer threw out there is.
Well, he's a known troll. I mean,
yeah, he was there.
He was. How about Malik Benson, the JUCO receiver that was brought in? He seems like he could be a starter.
Yeah, he's going to be a starter for sure. I think that, and this is like Willie Gray brings up a good point. Says people are wanting to see Bryce 2.0, and that bar isn't easily reached. Listen, like I've said this over and over and over again. You're going to have some sort of natural follow up at that kind of position when you've had that. Like, same with the receiver position you saw last year. Like, you're going to have some natural fall off because of how dominant and how elite they've been at that position. The one thing that no one seems to be talking about outside of Bama beat reporters, it's something we threw out there that I know I mentioned with Carson Beck and stuff like that. Just throwing this out there. What if this is the best defense that they're going to see all season? Is what they saw on Saturday in Tuscaloosa.
It's always a fair question to ask, no doubt about it. And it always is when you're facing an Alabama defense. Sounds like they absolutely hit it out of the park with Caleb Downs at safety.
Dude.
It seems like Caden Proctor, the guy that flipped from Iowa late, is going to end up being the starter at left tackle.
See, now I wouldn't necessarily say that he's the shoe-in for starter. Elijah Pritchett, who was the guy that started at left tackle with the first team, he did not look great. He's had some issues. Saban even pointed to it or pointed out in his post game, which was he had some issues where it's not just getting beat; it's also like some penalties and costly penalties at costly times, and like that's something you saw from a year ago that you just do not want to have if you're Alabama, which is like costly penalties, giving you 5-10 yards on third down, getting yourself from 3rd and 2 to 3rd and 7. That's just not where you can live, especially when you do have a young quarterback, right? No matter how you look at it. So I think that you still have J.C. Latham, number 1 tackle in the country coming out of high school. He's a third-year guy, physically massive. Caden Proctor also physically massive. He's 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", huge.
I think he's still in high school.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys on this
Yeah.
team. Like
Justice Haynes.
yeah, was kind of surprised about that.
Yeah.
That
really
is
good.
Jason Statham. Yeah, Jason Statham could start. So some On Three brought this up too, and here's the thing: I think that there's stuff still to be figured out with the quarterback position. I really do. I don't think that's in question. I don't think that's a shock to anyone. But one thing that seems again be very quiet, at least in terms of being talked about, is that the defense that you saw on Saturday, I think is going to take a massive step forward. And here's the other part too. So you lose Will Anderson. I understand that you lose a couple guys like on defense. You return probably the best cornerback in the country in Kool-Aid McKinstry. He will probably be the first cornerback taken in the draft next year. You have Ben Diesel's the best. You have Caleb Downs, who On Three brought up the other day. They're like, he might be the best player on the roster right now, which is
That's
crazy. I mean, like, there was a play that was an underthrown ball by Dylan Lonergan. Like, it was an underthrown ball. Ja'Cory Brooks catches it against Kool-Aid, and Caleb Downs in coverage. His hips, just how fluid he was, how quick he was able to change direction. And now, anytime your safety is the one that's like making a lot of plays, that's never good. But it wasn't like he was he didn't lead the team in tackles. It wasn't anything crazy like that. It was like that kid stood out because he is going to have to step in right away and play. Like he's replacing a 3-year starter.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's had a couple weeks to learn the system. He's still, he's straight. Like again, another guy that should be in high school. So his strength and conditioning isn't where it's going to be in the fall, let alone 2 or 3 years down the road. So, yeah, it sounds like Bama got an awesome player right out of Georgia's backyard.
Yeah, Justice Haynes too, with being having 3 touchdowns and shit like that. I think that's also big. I got my dad hat on. I think that I think they're going to be fine. Like again, I don't think that this is something where you're going to get to the fall. And I'm not saying that I think Bama is going to win the SEC or going to win. I don't think they're better than Georgia. I think Georgia's by far the best team in the SEC and the country. But I do think that anybody that has just if we're basing it off of last year, 2 losses by 4 points on the road on the last play of the game and a spring game, good luck. I mean, you got a whole season where you still I think that I think that offensive line is going to be really good. I think they're going to run the football really well. And I think that defense is going to be the best defense they've had in a minute.
And let's not forget, too, that Saban has won multiple championships with quarterbacks that I wouldn't consider to be anywhere close to elite.
Also, every championship, the last 4 times he's had a quarterback that's his first-year starter, they won the last. I think it's the last 4 titles they've won. The last 3 titles they've won was with a first-year starter.
Yeah, so it's I think there was a lot of people just waiting to jump onto Bama for something. Of course, you're gonna lock onto maybe not having one QB. What do you think about the long? I don't know, how do you say his name? Dylan Lonergan. Lonergan. We talked about him before, but he seemed to have a real presence in the game.
I would be shocked if he's the starter, but he did look good.
Yeah.
I mean, but Saban said afterwards, he kind of alluded to the fact that our buddy Clint Lamb, he even posted, he was like, it seemed like it was pretty obvious that afterwards when he was talking about the different players entering the draft or entering the draft in the portal, that if you're a quarterback thinking about entering the portal, I don't think Bama's done quite yet. If it's between the 2 guys, who do you think it goes to?
I guess I think probably at this point, Milrow's got the higher upside because he does have one elite trait, like his running ability. So
he showed that off in the game.
Yeah, if you could, tailor an offense around that aspect of his game, you could make that work. See Jalen Hurts.
See, but that's the other thing too, is I don't feel like they're they've put in a system where we're going to just have an offense based around that kid's talents.
And
And I will also say,
but that's a failure on the coaching staff if it comes down to him being the starter and they
if
don't
he's a
tailor it.
starter, yeah.
Yeah.
1,000% agree. I will say that all I wanted was for him to be the starter. I've said it over and over and over. I said it on different podcasts and radio and TV and all that kind of shit. That like if you don't have him on the field, that means you are keeping the best athlete on the field off the field. I will say that if it's from what I saw Saturday, if they were going into a game next week, Ty Simpson is going to be your starter because he made less mistakes. Milroe made a couple of mistakes that were inexcusable in terms of like one after like a big play. I think it was either on third down or it was like a big completion. He threw a ball as he was getting hit that was juggled around and tipped around in like pretty heavy coverage that should have been picked and it wasn't. And then the ball when they get Ty Simpson throws a interception on the goal line. They're like inside the 20, right? And he throws like it was a full extension interception from the defensive back. That was like a really good interception. But you get the ball back and it's, 1st and 10 from the 1 yard line and they decide to throw it deep and he throws a pick immediately. And it was like a terrible throw.
Right.
The decision making, I think that if it was tomorrow, I think that Ty Simpson's your quarterback.
Okay. Well, certainly it'll probably go back into fall, and we'll see who takes the lead there. Maybe after some more time with the offense, one of the freshmen steps up as well.
Yeah, you never know.
We'll see. Across the way there, LSU. From all accounts, it looks like LSU's special teams not fixed, even though they got rid of Brian Polian. Missing some field goals there. All jokes aside, nobody's here to hear about that. It looks like they're finally going to have a decent run game with Noah Cain. They've kind of struggled at the running back position over the course of the last couple of years, but it sounds like Noah Cain might be the answer to some of those questions. Jaden Daniels clearly continuing to get better in the offense.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that offensively they're going to be fine. I do wonder defensively. They have the talent, no doubt. Brian Kelly's come out and said they don't have the depth of talent they would like. The DBs, they're pretty much all transfers, and they didn't look great in the spring game. I'm not going to take too much into it, but of course they're going to have to be ready week 1 against a top 10, top 5 type offense at Fort State. So, did you get to see any of this game?
No, so it was on at the same time as the Bama game, so I did not watch it. I watched a bit of the replay and stuff like that, some of the highlights of it. Like Aaron Murray spoke very, very highly, and he was there covering the game. He spoke very highly of the quarterbacks and the receivers, but especially the quarterbacks. I think you have, and I think this is pretty fair to say, because I can't, and off the top of my head, I can't think of a better quarterback room. Because I don't think that Vandergriff has the experience. He hasn't played, obviously. Yeah. But from a quarterback standpoint, like the best depth is definitely going to be, what do you call it? In Baton Rouge, right? So
Nussmeier. I mean, yeah, and Jaden Daniels he's skinny, so
yeah,
one wrong hit and Nussmeier's going to see himself in some pretty serious duty next year. So,
well, we saw it last year.
And he was really good. And down the stretch, I was like, man, he might be the QB1 next year.
Right.
It's only a good thing for LSU, I think, if Daniels has been able to hold him off. So it'll be interesting to see that. One more thing on the Bama thing that I forgot we didn't mention. Did you ever take into consideration the rumors out of Miami that Tyler Van Dyke was looking to go to Alabama? Like, do you think that was real?
I'd be down for that.
I mean, a lot of these players now, Florida State, apparently, like 247, Florida State came out and said one of our best D tackles is like contemplating hitting the portal because he wants more NIL. And like, that's what, Tyler Van Dyke did. And it's just like maybe this is what we see now is like, these players will flirt with teams, get a raise where they're currently at is maybe the end goal. But I just thought it was interesting.
Here's the thing too. Being like Chad Kelly was talking about this. We had him on last year, around this time last year. Maybe it was like March of last year. And then he just did a interview with Pardon My Take.
I believe you mean Swag Kelly, right?
Yes. And one of the questions that they brought up, and some that we asked them as well, is like, what's it like being an SEC starting quarterback? And he's like, it's the greatest time of my life. It's just endless amounts of like whatever you want. Like, I'm sure being the starting quarterback at Miami is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I bet being a football player at Miami is pretty cool. Being the starting quarterback at Alabama versus being the starting quarterback at fucking Miami is much different.
Yeah.
It was like there's 58,000 people that showed up for the spring game. When's the last time Miami had 58,000 people show up for a home game, if ever? Probably never. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they don't even have their own stadium, so
yeah. So I think that like, and also Van Dyke's got like, I think that bringing anyone in to continue the competition at QB, I'm fine with. And that's it. Also, one of my favorite thing about this weekend when they were talking about the two quarterbacks, like their recruiting comparison. Do you know that Jalen Milroe, who's like a legit 4.3, like legit 4.3, possibly a 4.2 type guy, they had him ranked at. So they were showing Ty Simpson next to him, and it was like Ty Simpson, the number 2 overall dual threat quarterback, and they're showing like Ty Simpson with his Ty Simpson hair, just like very, very white, and then it was like Jalen Milroe, the number 16th ranked pocket passing quarterback. And it was like, I just, maybe that's, in Biden's America, we finally, racism right there.
It sounds like LSU is going to have Kyron Lacey step up. He had a pretty good spring game. So to go along with Malik Neighbors, a pretty good receiver room there.
Big too, tall, lanky.
Yeah. So I think LSU is going to have a really good offense this year. I think there's definitely some difference makers on defense. They get Mason Smith back, who tore his ACL in game 1 last year, like on the second play of the game against Florida State. So
and everything we heard going into the season last year, he was like already a difference maker.
Yeah, dominant. So getting him back, we'll have to see how he progresses through the year coming off that injury. But I think LSU's primed to take another step this year. I mean, 10 wins last year was big. Could have had more if they didn't blow it against Texas A&M.
Would they? Well, also, might have had less if they didn't skate through against Alabama and Arkansas.
Fair. We talked about Oxford and how, it'd be pretty cool. Morgan Wallen.
It's like, I have so many feelings about this because, like, I'm not a fan of cancel culture. But he's already been canceled once. Me?
No, he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He and with good reason. Like there's a video of him dropping the N-word, and then his like people were like dug in deeper. They're like, "Fuck it, dude! I'm even more Morgan Wallen."
Yeah.
If Morgan Wallen, the only thing that can cancel Morgan Wallen right now is if he was on a Bud Light game, which he might have gotten this weekend.
Yeah. So he was like supposed to perform actually in the football stadium
in Vaught,
and just like never came out.
No, he's still straight for sure.
Yeah.
No, so he and he canceled in like the shittiest way. He was like, so if you don't know the story,
he dropped like an iPhone note, like he was decommitting.
Yeah. Please respect my privacy at this time.
Yeah. Please. This is in God's hands. God did this. Respect my decision. I'm decommitting. It's not even a word. When they posted it, has the red squiggly line under because decommit is not supposed to be a word. But it's just in our language now.
Also, whoever wrote unfortunately, I think he spelled it wrong. There was like a
that's perfect.
There's like a typo in it or something like that at some point, unless somebody was just making a joke that said unfortunately. No, but so he used to do back-to-back nights. And he was doing Saturday night, Sunday night in Vaught Hemingway, which is like a pretty cool thing. Like he's doing like a stadium tour, and especially doing like you've seen this like kind of happen over the past couple of years where, Garth Brooks did the one in Birmingham. Garth Brooks did Baton Rouge, like in Tiger Stadium, which is like fucking incredible. That's like a all-time concert. But like he canceled, but he canceled where he performed on Saturday. Sunday night, he had his opening 2 acts perform. So the first act goes on, performs, comes off stage. Second act comes on, performs, comes off stage. And then, like, you're getting ready for more.
Crowd's getting gassed up.
been gassed up.
Yeah,
Been
been
there all
gas up. Been
fucking
getting
day.
lubricated all day long waiting for
And-
this.
And you know damn well. Have you ever been to Oxford?
I've never been to Oxford, no.
Getting in and out of Oxford is not easy. It is
Okay.
it is very difficult to get in and out of Oxford. What was that?
I dropped my phone.
Oh, so there's people that like that had been there, like obviously just for that, right? And then he just drops a note. He's like, "Hey man, my bad, lost my voice, can't perform." And like, so at that point, you're like, okay, did you like your voice was your voice just all of a sudden lost, or was it like it was lost all day and you thought you could go and you couldn't?
Yeah.
Because he handled it very poorly, and then it comes to find out there was like a video that went viral of a security guard, and he was like, he was too drunk to stand. He couldn't fucking stand on his own 2 feet. And so, they just canceled the whole show. And there was like this one dude that tweeted out, it was like, I spent $10,000 on these tickets.
That sounds like a you problem, brother.
Anybody spending $10,000 on
any ticket.
Yeah, unless it's a DUI to get out of it, then yeah. Like I don't like $10,000, and then he like showed the receipt. It was like he had 4 tickets that were over $1,000 a piece, and like it was $6,700 for 4 tickets.
Dude, so there's a reason why Morgan Wallen lost his voice. His last album had 36 fucking songs on it.
I'm going to Taylor Swift on Friday. And
you are?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
Mercedes-Benz.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
I'm
pumped. This is my friend Lillian.
36 songs. You know the craziest thing? So that album has been #1 in all genres for the past 7 weeks. On the like iTunes top 40, he had all 36 of his songs were in the top 40.
Shut up.
Yeah, I swear to God. He's that big, dude. He's like I think he had the second biggest tour last year behind Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny? He was #1?
Bad Bunny was #1 by a long shot.
I feel so old right now. Also, thanks. Ben Diesel said you're going to look like such a creeper. First off, it's not going to be a concert full of teenage girls. This is like, here's the thing about Taylor Swift.
Are you serious?
It's not going to be all teenage girls. It's going to be
not all, but a lot.
Yeah, but like I won't be around them legally. I'm not allowed.
Don't
okay. No, I don't think it's going to be that bad. It's going to be like.
It's going to be loud.
It's going to be so, but she like her set list is 44 songs.
That's insane.
Are
you one of those guys that looks at the set list before you go?
1,000%.
Oh God, why would you do that?
Well, in this case, Tyler, it's 44 fucking songs.
So I want 44 surprises, Chris.
You know what I want? I want trips to the bathroom planned, and I want like to know when I'm going to have my drinks. Also, the draft is on Friday, so I'm going to be running back and forth and shit. But like, okay,
true.
So hold on.
Wait, you're going during the draft?
Yeah,
sir.
It's Taylor Swift.
Okay. I'll let the chat room decide.
Okay, hold on. First off,
and we will kill you.
No, it's okay. Hold on. So here's the set list. So like I'm going through it right now. Right, set list I know number 5. Lover. I know that one.
Lover.
Now, then I know number 8 and 9. Okay. I know number 18. So we got about an 8-song break of nothing. I know all of. Fuck. See, this is what I don't like. So I know like.
Are you about to go through all 44 songs and tell me?
I'm going through them right now. I know.
Don't listen to this.
Just shut up. I know 18. I know 21 and 22. And then I know 31. So there's like 2 8-song breaks where I have no fucking clue.
Okay, well that's when you use the restroom.
This is gonna be
all right. Let's talk about Colorado because
they
look really bad, and any player that was any good at all that was already on the roster seems to be transferring out after the game.
15 people.
You had a guy from the all name team, Montana Lemonius Craig. who was he had 150 yards receiving, including a 98-yard touchdown in the spring game.
What?
He's moving on. Tyron Taylor expected to be an important defensive piece. So yeah, 15 in total. Deion's like, I feel like Deion is kind of like Dabo, but then he kind of gets away with saying what he says. Because he was like, yeah, we didn't put any in the portal. We didn't make anybody quit. They quit themselves.
Yeah.
He's kind of like that old school mentality. Shocking to see this many people enter the portal, though. I don't know. What
So
are you
right
still
now,
on the Deion? Like Deion's going to be really successful train or no?
No. When was I ever on that train?
Okay, I can't remember.
Okay. This is how shit starts. It pisses me off. Were you still on the whole Auburn's going to win the Natty next year train, or like I can't remember.
Oh, that's egregious to say.
No. So they have 22 like scholarship players from last year's team, which is not may not mean much because last year's team was awful. But 22 scholarship players.
Yes, sir.
That's bad.
That's not good.
Bad. No.
Bad. Real bad.
Bad.
Yeah, I think Colorado's going to have a tough first year. I tweeted this the other day. I know it seems like sour grapes, but I feel like Travis Hunter.
Twitter yet?
I feel like Travis Hunter is chosen to waste his career going with Deion.
I did see you write that
personally. Okay. So now that we're done with most spring, all spring, you want to rank 14 through 1 the teams in the SEC?
We can. Now, are we missing anything from else around the league? Nebraska had their spring game. It seemed like
a lot of people came out.
That was like they like actively tried to bury any kind of bad juju from the 2000s. Yeah. Willie Gray makes a very good point. Nebraska had theirs. They ran a fullback dive on the first play to honor Frank Solich.
Nice.
Is he dying or something?
I mean, I would imagine so.
Wow. After I said that, I thought it was rude, but you found a way to make it way worse.
I mean, how old is he?
78. He doesn't look 78.
Good for you, Frank.
Frank the Tank.
Oklahoma had their spring game, but I mean, they've got better on defense.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Had to have. Oh yeah, what? How Brent Venables was like, if you don't get a ton of people out to your spring game, your program doesn't matter.
Who was he talking about?
No idea.
Did you see the final score?
I did not. The final score of the Oklahoma game.
I'd like you to put us on the side, and but stop.
Okay.
I want you to put us on the side. I want you to bring up Google, and I want to see your reaction in real time. Oddly craggy.
Okay, hold on.
What are you doing? What did I just say to do?
I'm putting us on the side.
Oh, okay.
Dick.
But don't look it up yet. Okay.
I'm not.
Right, I want to see this. Duck, duck, go.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Oklahoma spring game. Five takeaways?
Sure. Can you give me a final score in there? Maybe go to the top, see if you can find it. I'll see if I can find it on Twitter too, and I'll send it to you. How about you take a guess what the final score was?
I don't really know which way to go, like really underscoring or really not. I heard the defense was better, so I'm gonna go low.
You heard the defense was better? Who told you that?
Don't worry about it.
Tyler, the final score
84 to 82?
84 to 82.
Oh wow, dude. But I mean, was it a real game?
Whoever had the take that, well, they both started at 38.
The scoring system awards points to both teams for punts, defense.
84 to 82.
But I mean, it's not real. It's not a real score.
No, it's not real football either. But here's the thing: if you're Oklahoma at this point, like if I'm Britt Venables,
yeah, you don't want that to necessarily be the headline.
No, that's not good. You're a defensive guy. You were shit last year. You got beat 49-0 against Texas. 49-0.
Sire.
It's tough.
All right, let's rank the SEC, the future league for Oklahoma. I think
Yeah.
at 14, I'm going to go out on the leash. I'm going to say Vandy's the worst team.
I'm gonna say Tennessee.
Tennessee?
No, Vandy.
I think then there's a conversation between a couple different schools.
Ooh.
I think you could easily go Auburn here. You could go Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
From what I saw from Florida, unless they get a new QB, they could be down here.
Now listen, we have Audley Craggy is live and watching right now, and I don't want him to feel like this is. I'm gonna say Mississippi State.
It's 13.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and why is that? You just think first year transitioning.
It's too much to overcome, and they don't have enough pieces in place. And you lose Ra Thomas. I hate it, but yeah, I'll have them last.
Okay, I'll go then to Missouri.
Yeah, same.
They do get Jake Garcia, but he was awful at Miami. He's a former high 4-star, 5-star type talent. But I just, they lose obviously Dominic Lovett, who also went to Georgia, just like Ra Thomas. So I don't know. Brady Cook was out for the spring, so I don't know if Sam Horn was injured, their other QB. So I just don't really know where they're headed with QB. And same thing can be said for Auburn, at this point.
Yeah,
I think those are probably interchangeable. I think I like Hugh Freeze as better as a coach. I also think they'll aggressively try to bring someone in the portal, and
they would have to.
Yeah. So I mean, I could see them being better.
But look what you said about the guy, the quarterback. I can't remember his name right now, but the quarterback from Coastal Carolina.
Oh yeah, what's his name?
He's been there forever.
Yeah, whatever. Fucking whatever his name is.
We're killing it today.
Yeah.
The fact that guy couldn't get into Florida.
That's the rumor. Well, we don't know if it's true.
Florida's like a top.
Yeah, Florida's a great school, and maybe he needed a spring semester to get the grades up, and he could transfer now. I don't know.
But either way, that's not good. I've got if we've got Vandy, Mississippi State,
Missouri, Auburn.
I have Florida next.
Okay.
Yeah, no offense, Audley. I know you're here. We appreciate you being here, and I hope you're right. I hope they are an 8-9 win team.
I hope you're wrong,
but they do have very high academic standards. That part was not a joke. So like that, it could have just been. And I only brought that up because it could have just been Florida that he couldn't get into because Florida's a really good school. Like I don't know if he can get Auburn. I don't know if he can get
I think for athletics it's not that hard.
I mean, either
fucking
way.
Chris Rainey was there. Time to die, bitch.
What is that?
You remember when he said that to the girl?
No.
Chris Rainey?
No.
He texted some his ex-girlfriend time to die, bitch. Like, you don't remember that?
I do not.
I bet even Audley will admit to that. Come on.
Yes,
all right. So Florida. Then would you go Auburn or would you go something?
Yeah, then I'd have Auburn.
Okay. So now we start to get into that's probably the bottom third of the league. This is where I think there's some arguments to be made. I like that Kentucky added Leary, so I think I'd probably go Arkansas here, and then South Carolina.
What?
And then Kentucky. I don't think South Carolina is ready yet.
So you have 9, 8, and 7. Okay.
Yeah.
We're very different here then, because at 9. I'm assuming you either just overlook this team or you're just being stupid. At 9, I have Texas A&M.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, look,
you think Texas A&M is a top 6 team?
I don't know that they
top
are.
5, I'll punch you in the fucking mouth.
I know that they are, but I don't know that they are. But I'm saying their talent is a lot better than these teams down here. I don't know. You're probably right. They probably belong down here.
That's fine. So I would take. So you did 3 in a row. So I'll take A&M. Then I would have Kentucky and then Arkansas.
And then South Carolina. So you got South Carolina as a top 6 team.
Yeah.
I don't think they're ready yet to take that next step. I think the recruiting is going to show up next year.
I didn't think they were last year, though.
That's true. That's true. They lost Jordan Birch. They lost Jordan Birch and Gilbert Edmond off the D-line. Their O-line, not great. Didn't look good in the spring game. Got to win in the trenches in the SEC, my friend. All right. So then I guess you would go South Carolina, then plug in Ole Miss at 5.
Fuck. Yeah, I guess. I didn't think this one through, huh?
All right, so your top 4
Yeah,
then. No, I think
yeah.
it pretty much tracks.
Because
So
you
then
have Quinchon still. I like. So here's the thing. I think
Jackson
that
Dart looked good in the spring.
I think Leary in Kentucky could be good. I don't know what that offensive line is going to have. They're in a good position, I think, this year with Kentucky. It's also a team that's beaten South Carolina like 5 of the past 7 or 5 of the past 6, I guess at this point. 6 of the past 7. I don't know. I know they didn't last year. But I will also say that like if Arkansas and South Carolina were in different divisions, I would have Arkansas ahead of South Carolina.
Yeah, I agree. I see
So,
that. But you
yeah.
do have 2 top. So basically that leaves us LSU, Tennessee, Bama, Georgia. I'm guessing you're going to take Georgia in the number 1 spot.
Yeah.
All right. So how are we ordering then Bama, Tennessee, LSU? Is it that order there or is it a little different?
You go first.
I would go Georgia, Bama, LSU, Tennessee. What?
That's exactly what I would do.
Oh, okay. Well, Jesus. I mean, it's not that bad.
I was just hoping that you had something different in the top 4, especially since your 6th pick at A&M was so egregiously bad. I don't want to agree with you. No, here's the thing. I'll say it, and we can say it as like a homer thing if we want to. That team at number 1 is the number 1 team in the country. They're the number 1 program in the country. They have every possibility lined up very well for them to three-peat. They play fucking no one. They play fucking no one all season long. Even their first test is at the end of the year.
Who are they supposed to play again? Oklahoma?
But like that aside,
that's not even. I'm just saying like they won 6 games last year.
Right. And I fully understand if you're a Georgia fan, like it's frustrating to hear like the whole strength of schedule thing because it's like no one's anywhere remotely close to you. So that's part of the reason why they like it looks so different.
They've
they're playing
earned that
it's
spot.
like but like it's not like you were constantly bringing it. Like you played on the road against Notre Dame. Everything else has kind of been things you've scheduled against. Like the Clemson game was a neutral site. Oregon was a neutral site. You got a first year. Like Clemson game was 10-3, by the way. Let's not forget about that. So it's not like you've been like blowing out like some of these like those type of games. Like Notre Dame was close. I think that like we in the SEC have a hard time giving any other conference credit. And there's a big difference between like neutral site going on the road, and I know they were supposed to with Oklahoma, and it wouldn't have mattered this year either way. But they don't play fucking anybody. But I would just say that team at number 2, or say they're number 4. Who fucking cares? It's hard. Like put them at number 4 if you want.
Yeah.
You get both LSU and Tennessee at home. That Texas game week 2 is going to be harder than anyone else on that schedule. You got to go to Auburn. You get Ole Miss at home. You get Arkansas at home. And like at some point, we're going to look up on this schedule and be like, well, Bama, that's an easy schedule. No, it's because they played 5 teams last year on the road when they were all ranked at the time they played them. And I'm just telling you, this Friday night, I will be in Mercedes-Benz Stadium watching Taylor Swift sing 44 songs in a building that Kirby Smart has never beat Nick Saban in. And I'm just saying, if they get to December, I've said this a lot this offseason. I think Georgia's the best team in the country, the best program in the country. But one loss, that entire fucking narrative changes. That entire narrative of because they should have lost Ohio State last year. That whole narrative changes so quickly from like we own Bama, like Kirby Smart is daddy or what the fuck ever, into man, he's now 1-5 against Bama. They've lost 8 of their last 10 against Bama. I'm just saying,
if you're looking forward, not backward, Chris.
Yeah, if we're looking forward, I'm very much looking forward to this. Because at this point, you have nothing to lose.
Great. I can't wait. This is gonna be a great season. Okay. All right. Well, anything else? Awful. I mean, we got the draft this week. You got T Swift.
Yeah. Anything else for the listeners? Real quick, and then we'll there's a couple things we just hit on. Like, Also, because we have been going for 45 minutes. If there's any questions like that from the audience, definitely throw them out there. I have a mental health thing I'm gonna throw out here in a second. You guys are gonna love it. So we were supposed to have a guest on. It was supposed to be Annie Agar, who is the hottest woman on the planet. I'll say it.
You can't say that before she comes on.
Well, she's probably not gonna come on now at this point.
Okay, God damn it.
No, I mean
Right.
she probably will. No, she's awesome. She's hilarious. But she like sent me a text yesterday and she was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to make it on."
So sick brag, bro.
Yeah,
Did you
the
give her
Aaron
my
Rodgers
number?
thing.
Why don't you put us in a group text?
No, I'm good. So, no, but so she was like, the Aaron Rodgers trade is about to happen, so I'm not gonna be good for tomorrow. I can't do this, which is fine, and we'll figure out a chance to bring her or a time to bring her back on. But the Aaron Rodgers trade, which was like too hard for me to even understand, like all the draft picks and shit. It was too hard for me to even understand.
Okay.
There was a ton. There's like a ton of draft picks. I thought that was interesting. Here's another thing that was good. According to a study from SBR.net, Auburn is the fastest shrinking fan base in college football over the last 2 years. The study claims that Auburn has lost 950,000 fans.
Wait, who's measuring this?
47% of their fan base.
Well, I mean, what does that even mean, Chris?
I don't know.
What website are you quoting?
This is from SDS. This is
I don't. What is that? That has to be like social media following. But like, why would you like unfollow?
It's from SBR.net. SBR.net,
Yeah,
Sports Business Research Network. They've got 190 followers, so you know they're good.
Yeah, that's fair.
Why did we quote them if they have 190 followers? That's tough.
How's it feel to have Bryce Young get drafted first?
We have questions?
No. How's it feel to
all 8 of us just Googled that? First off, there's more than 8 people in here. Dicks.
There was 69.
Yeah, it was. That was cool.
Spencer Strider lost a no-hit bid in the 8th inning. He's got 12 Ks. Yeah, man. So draft this Thursday, and then we'll probably recap the draft on next Monday, right?
Yeah, so that happens. Yeah, that's on Thursday. And so, and if you're keeping up with it right now, that they have Will Levis as number 2.
Yeah, that's. God, I mean, the Texans. Look, I guess it proved me wrong because I've talked shit about Will Levis being a top, like not only a top 10 pick, but like even a first round pick. If he goes number 2, I guess I was totally wrong. Just like Baker Mayfield,
Yeah. But the Will Levis thing. So I was saying this to, I think it was to Lillian. She was like, "Do you remember any of the bets that you've made about Will Levis?" And I was like, "No, because I probably didn't make them." She's like, "I have all of them bookmarked." And I was like, "Why? What are they?" Because apparently, I said if Will Levis is drafted number 1 overall,
okay, well, you're not,
I will eat a pair of jeans.
Well, I do recall that.
Okay,
but I will say that he's not going to get drafted number 1, so who cares?
If some travesty happens and Will Levis gets drafted,
no, I will. There's going to be no better pod than when you have to eat a pair of jeans.
Yeah, it'd be awful. I've been trying to think of like what kind of Texas Pete sauce I would put on the jeans to even make them even good.
You just sprinkle some dust.
Yeah. Jeff Williams says, "Why did UGA and Oklahoma have to cancel, but Bama and Texas didn't?" Probably because Bama wanted to play a real schedule. I don't know.
Ooh, okay.
No, he said, "Real question, not a shot." It is something to do with what Willie Gray said, like where since that part of the series already started, they did not cancel it. But since Texas and Oklahoma will be joining the conference next year, it wouldn't have joined halfway in the middle of a home and home. If that makes sense.
It does.
What else we got? Anything? Or just
nope.
Mental health.
Mental health, and then we're signing off.
All right.
Please, tell us how to think.
Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to point this. I wanted to say something. Something I was thinking about all weekend. Tyler, look away. So most of you guys know, like, it's not always the most. We do this every Monday and Wednesday. We do this live. We get to interact with all you guys, and you guys make the show great. Tyler, stop looking at me.
Okay.
And so I was thinking about this weekend. Today's not my favorite day. Today's April 24th. Today was the day I was supposed to be married. And I was thinking about this because I was talking to one of my friends about it and talking to a therapist about it, and how it's been 3 years and it's still something that bothers me. It's still something that comes up and still makes me super sad and makes me feel, I don't know, kind of bad about myself and embarrassed and all these things. And I kind of got to thinking about how important you guys are and important how this like little community we've built is, and how helpful you guys have been through all these different things. And then also started to think about the fact that like everyone's going through stuff. Everyone's always going through stuff. I know you guys get tired of hearing about, some, like, sometimes like whether it's like certain teams or certain problems or certain whatever, over and over. And I remember there was somebody that said this to me the other day that was like, you should be over it by now. And I'm not. And I've really kind of leaned into the fact that that I'm okay with that. And there's a lot of stuff that happens in life that I think that all of us have to go through. And wherever you are and wherever you're going through, I think that the biggest thing I've learned is that grief and growth have no timetable. What you're going through, you don't have to be over it right now. You don't have to be over it in certain time period, or what you're trying to get to ultimately at the end, your end goals, or like your personal goals and like your career goals, like any of those things. They don't have a timetable on them. It doesn't have to happen overnight. It doesn't have to happen next year. It doesn't have to happen in 5 years. You have a 5-year plan. Fuck it. Have a 10-year plan. Have a 7-year plan. Make a prime number plan. Make a Big Ten football score plan. And all that's okay. And you're doing great. And I think that one of the biggest things that has happened, one of the biggest things, thanks, Mike. One of the biggest things that I had to get through was hearing people say all the time, it's like, you dodged a bullet. And then you think about the reverse of that, being the bullet that you feel like someone else dodged is a tough pill to swallow. But that being said, we're all on our own plan, I feel like, in our own path and stuff like that. And there's a reason why things do happen, and it sucks and it hurts. But there's no fucking timetable for grief or growth. So if anyone needs to talk, anyone needs to get through shit, we're here for you. We love you. We appreciate all of you guys listening each and every week. And that's it.
Well said, my friend. We'll leave the pod with that. Thank you for tuning in. Good luck watching the draft, everybody. We'll talk to you next week, or at least I will.
See you guys.